In this week's show, I welcome Bob Frank, Cleveland-based blues guitarist. Stick around. Hey, welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mossbrook. On this week's show, we welcome Bob Frank. He's a blues guitarist from Cleveland, Ohio. He's also played in one of the hottest bluegrass groups around the area, and we're going to talk about all kinds of music stuff. So first, let's listen to a little music.
Snowflakes are falling, leaves on the ground, earthquakes are coming, blues all around, satellites crashing, and I don't give a damn. Seems I forgot too much and too many, 4 for a dime or 6 for a penny, it all makes me ponder. It's all water over the dam. Beer in the icebox, chicken on the grill. I don't care who gets, as long as I get my fill. Like Popeye said, I am what I am. Whatever it is, it's too little, too late. Whoever still wants them, you're just gonna have to wait. And not that I'm indifferent, but it's all water over the dam. Well, you don't want me here, but you don't want me gone. You can't lose the singer and still keep the song. I'm tired of this show and all the fling-flam. It's time to look out on the long, lonesome road. The baggage I'm carrying like a full train load. It's time to break free, 'cause it's all water over the dam. Shake it, don't break it, and don't let it fall. They won't let me return it, and that ain't all. I've lost all respect, I'm stuck in a jam. I'll crawl my way back and keep moving on. I'll keep moving up till my spirit's gone. It's showtime, people, 'cause it's all water over the dam. It's all water over the dam.
On today's show, we welcome Bob Frank. He's a blues guitarist from the Cleveland area. He's spent years playing with a group called Blue Lunch, and he's played with a group called the Hotfoot Quartet. Plays many kinds of traditional music from around America. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Great. How are you, Charlie?
I'm well. Welcome to the show. How did you get into the blues?
Very simple. I got a radio for my 14th birthday.
Okay.
It was old-fashioned tabletop, and it was, an FM radio. And I would put the radio under the blanket at night when I was supposed to be sleeping and hunt for sound. And one day I came up on WRUW, which was in their first month of operation, and they had a blues show. And I was absolutely transfixed. I remember it was on a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those life epiphanies, where something hits you like a baseball bat in the back of the head. And I listened to the next week, and then the next week I went downtown on the Rapid Transit and bought my first harmonica. And then that was it. I was just totally taken in by this music. Nothing like which I'd ever heard before.
Who were some of those early influences that you clung on to, that you dug?
WRUW, the first week or two I listened, I think they had about 3 records. They
Okay.
played them over and over again. One of them was by Kerner, Ray, and Glover, which was this a Minnesota blues trio, white guys. Then they also had a Butterfield record, and I think The Best of Muddy Waters. But I became a Butterfield acolyte pretty early on, and I had a band in high school that played blues. We had a high school blues band, and I was the harmonica player and singer in that band. And then I went on to college, and I did the same thing. I put together a band, and again, I was the harmonica player and the singer.
As time went on, you joined the Hotfoot Quartet.
I had been interested in other kinds of music too. I moved back to Cleveland after college. I worked for a couple of years at a job I couldn't stand. I was a radio time salesman, if you can imagine that. And then I became unemployed, and I got an offer to do music for a play called Diamond Studs. And I needed a band, so they brought me Paul Kovac and Jim Bloom.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoyed doing the show and decided to start a band and have it be a bluegrass band. So for the next 20 years, I was fairly immersed in learning how to play and playing bluegrass music, which I still love to this day. It's really different than playing blues, but it's not. There is so much that connects it. I loved it.
I remember going downtown, taking the Rapid downtown, as you talked about, to go get your harmonica, and we'd go down to Muni Stadium, and we'd go to the baseball game, and there'd be about 400 people in there, and then we'd hear this familiar voice, and it would be Roland singing the national anthem. Always
Roland did some on his own, but we did about 5 to get with the whole group.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. They seem to use this for Yankees games a lot. We also would play on opening day at the gate.
Blue Lunch. Tell us more about that. That was a big group, wasn't it? A bit more than a quartet.
Yes, it was. It's been an interesting musical journey because Hotfoot didn't really end. It just sort of, it ended with a whimper instead of a bang. 4 years in the middle there, I played in a group called Macaw with Ron Jarvis. It was supposed to be like a world music band type of thing, which seemed like a real nice break from what I was doing before. Plus, I would be playing lead guitar and electric guitar, which I'd never done in a band. So I did that for 4 years. And then I left that group. The next morning, I called Norm Tischler to tell him what I had done. And by that evening, I was in Blue Lunch and stayed for 24 and a half years. I had wanted to do this solo work for a long time. This is the first year since '77, Charlie, that I haven't been in a band. That's how strange this summer feels to me.
You picked a good year to not be in a band.
Yeah, I think it kind of worked out that way, although I was really sort of starting to get things going. I had always been afraid to play solo. I was terrified of it because I was so scared. What happened was they used to have this thing called the Blues Challenge, this music contest. And I decided I had to sort of conquer my fear. And I entered the contest. I wrote a bunch of new songs for it. And I entered the contest and won. So I said, I can do this, And but it did take me 3 years to get up the nerve to leave Blue Lunch. It was very much of a family kind of situation. We're all about the same age, went to each other's parents' funerals. So it was hard to do. Mm-hmm. But it was time.
So is your focus now as a solo artist, it's more traditional blues?
My focus is on my own music. I want to do stuff that I write. I love traditional blues. I want to sing what is real to me. Mm-hmm. As much as I love the old blues, Charlie, I've never seen a boll weevil. I don't know what it's like to lose your crop. But I know what life is like for people today. Mm-hmm. And I can sing about that. So I try to write and sing about what I know and what I think people can relate to. But the inspiration of those masters, Robert Johnson, Blind Boy Fuller, Tommy Johnson, all those guys is always, it's always driving me.
Do you have a new record or one coming out soon?
I have the one solo album I did, which was out on Ripcat Records. And it's called True Stories and Outrageous Lies. I was working on songs for a new CD. One of the last things I did before all this happened, I went to Rockford, Illinois to do a show for the Blues Society there. And I took a box of CDs because, since I started doing this, what you always hope to do is pay your road expenses with your merch sales.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I sold 2 CDs, but I made $150 in a tip jar they put out. So I'm playing and I'm watching people drop 20s into the tip jar and thinking, you could have a CD.
Right.
They did, but they don't have the players, and they stopped putting the players in the car.
So you're involved in the is it the Cleveland Blues Society?
I was an original founder. Myself, Gary Kraft, Mary Rose, John Adams, the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
We started the organization. I was on the board for 4 years, and they still keep me around to do the Hall of Fame. We have a Cleveland Blues Hall of Fame. I'm kind of the Hall of Fame committee, so
Okay.
I decide who goes in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's fortunate until it's time for you to be inducted.
I'll probably be long dead by then.
Who are some of the highlights in that?
The first year we put in Robert Lockwood, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Big Maybell, the great blues singer who died in Cleveland, is buried here. Mr. Stress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you remember Bill Miller, Mr. Stress.
Yeah.
And Bull Moose Jackson, who's from Cleveland, and wrote some songs about Cleveland. And they were our first class, the first group. And then we Screamin' Jay Hawkins was in the second. He's a Clevelander.
I didn't know that.
Who else? Travis Haddix, we put in. Crazy Marvin. There are films about them that I made on YouTube. So if you look up Cleveland Blues Hall of Fame,
we'll link to that.
And Crazy Marvin, everybody just knows him for hanging around. He recorded with Jimi Hendrix.
Really?
Yeah, and Sly Stone. I mean, he's had an amazing career and past. I'm trying to think of who else we put in. The last group was Jimmy Landers, Jimmy Lay, Jimmy Dyson, and Wallace Coleman. And Wallace Coleman has now really made a fantastic career for himself, plays all over the world. So that's pretty much who we have in there so far. I was also on one of the original members of the IBMA, the International Bluegrass Association.
Were you really? Okay.
Yeah, we went to the organizing meeting in Nashville, and we were one of the first people to sign up. I remember I was sitting in the same row with Ricky Skaggs at the meeting, a member of the roster of Young Audiences, which is now called Center for Arts Inspired Learning. They've got a little complicated name. I've been with them 39 years, and I've done probably 4,000 school programs.
Cool.
The last close to 40 years.
So you go into the schools and just do a performance for the kids, or do you do workshops and stuff too?
Originally, when I first started with them, it was going in and doing performances in an auditorium. Now it's more like workshops, or the last thing I was doing were these group guitar classes at Corey Rec Center in Glenville and Cudell Rec Center on the near west side. Mm-hmm. That was the last project I did with them. So it has changed significantly over the years.
Do they find a relationship with the blues?
On the occasions I've been able to work in the right circumstances, yes. A few years ago, I did this program called 357, where somebody goes into all the 3rd grade, 5th grade, or 7th grade classes. I agreed to do the 7th grade. Nobody else would do it. One of the first times I went into a school, it was an all-girls school. They're trying all kinds of different things. And it was an pretty much exclusively African-American school. So I sit down and I play a little bit. I introduce myself. I tell them I'm there to talk about the blues. The hands go up. The little girl says, do you know Muddy Waters? I go, well, I met Muddy. I got to see him. How about Little Walter? Do you know Little Walter? And I'm thinking, what an amazing, what's going on, Well, then I realized they had all seen on TV Cadillac Records. They didn't watch that movie because it was about Muddy Waters and Little Walter. They watched it because Beyonce was in it. There was a connection because I could tell them, yes, I met Muddy a couple times and spoke to him, and I was, was a fan, and then I'd play a Muddy tune. So yeah, there was definitely a way to connect.
There's always a thread back to that root.
Yeah, so there is always a way to connect. And I've changed my approach to working with kids. You know, when you start out, you think that what you're supposed to do is a lot of names and dates, you know, and nobody's interested in that.
Right.
Nobody remembers it. Nobody cares. You talk about yourself and how the music relates to you and how the music makes you feel, why you love the music. My approach now is that I'm selling passion. There is something that you can learn to do now that you will love doing for the rest of your life.
If you appreciate this content, please hit the subscription button down below. Please ring the bell for notifications so that you'll be informed whenever I put out a new episode. Also, you can visit us at charliesopenmic.com and find our Patreon link to help support the show. This pandemic has been tough on so many of us in so many ways, and one way that it's adversely affected musicians is that it limits our ability to travel and to get out and do live concerts for you. In fact, I haven't done any live concerts since the pandemic began. One way I love to tour is by rail. I love getting out on the trains and getting a rail pass for a couple weeks and going up and down the West Coast from California to Oregon to Washington, back through Colorado, through New Orleans, South Carolina. There's so many beautiful places across this country, and I miss them. I miss seeing them, and I miss seeing my friends, and I miss doing the little house concerts in the small venues. And everything that goes along with traveling around this country. One other thing I really miss is just the anticipation of coming home, and so I thought I'd do a little song about that. This is called I'll Be Coming Home to You. Been alone, often waiting by the phone, waiting for my call from God knows where. And I meant to call, I swear, and I'll be coming up the stairs, and I will be coming home to you. It seems like years since my story has been clear. I'm hoping you believe my tale this time. But it's been a long, long while since I have seen you smile, and I will be coming home to you. And like a man, he's gone out to sea. The sirens and the stars are guiding me. Once I come to shore, I'll be knocking at your door, and I will be coming home to you. I lost track of time to a bottle of wine, or maybe I had a few more. But once I'm off the floor, I swear I won't have no more, and I will be coming home to you. And once I'm off the floor, I swear I won't have no more, and I will be coming home to you. Hey, thanks for watching Charlie's Open Mic this week. Thank you to Bob Frank for joining us. As always, please hit that subscription link down below. Please ring the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. Always comment and like to let us know what you're thinking. And you can visit us at charliesopenmic.com to find our Patreon link and help support the show. We'll see you next week. Thanks.